They didn't get back to me in a couple of days. I had to wait more like a week or two, and I was following up with them. I'm like, is this gonna even happen? They're just gonna end up ghosting. My can's gonna get another job or interview elsewhere. He's gonna get off the market, and now we're gonna lose this and have to start from scratch all over again. Hello, and welcome back to another video. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Preston. I'm an owner of a recruiting agency. If you're looking for a job or you need help hiring, please feel free to reach out to me. And in this video, we're gonna talk about a recent placement that myself and my team just did, feeling really great about it, still have that high, and wanna break it down for you and hope it helps. But before we get started, if you are as excited as I am to get into this, please consider supporting a fellow recruiter. Give us a like, subscribe, click that bell, it really means a lot. In this video, we're gonna go over how I recently placed a group or a principal product manager at our client. Let's go over some background. So first and foremost, my client is a global consumer-facing aviation brand with offices all around the world, from the Middle East to Asia to UK to the States. They approached us. We have a long-standing relationship with them. We actually, in fact, helped place multiple people over the past 2 years. And they approached us again saying, hey, we really need help with this group product manager position. We would love to have your help and lead on the search. We quickly picked up the role and we basically got our search started. Now, before we kind of talk about the story, let's go over the position. So they're calling it a principal group product manager role. It's a fairly senior level position. They really wanted someone that had strong, proven track record of product management, but also product management leadership. Like, they'd have to have that experience managing other product managers. They also want someone who ideally had experience working at some sort of consumer-facing company or brand, because that will be directly relevant to them. They also wanted someone that had domain knowledge or even experience when it comes to finance, whether it's internal or external products that they owned, whether it's more broader domain knowledge. That would be really exciting for them, just because the initial product that this person would be owning at this company would be some sort of financial-esque product. So whether that meant this person came out of like a more established financial company, more of a fintech company, or just someone who had perhaps a previous life before they pivoted into product management as an accountant or financial analyst or anything pertinent or related to finance, that would have been good enough for them, among a couple other things. But these were like some of the really important criteria that they really wanted for this role. And understanding this, my team and I got started. Now, the interesting thing about this is that this is a position that we've been working for a long time. And I mean long, like almost 9, 10, 11 months. Now, if you're like, wow, Preston, does it usually take you that long to do a deal? No. But has it taken this long to do some deals? Yes. Now, what's really interesting here though is, even though we've been doing it for 10, 11, 12 months, I don't want you to get discouraged. The interesting thing here is that we were really close on closing 2 different candidates for that same role. We had 2 different candidates with really great backgrounds who made it to the final, who made it to the offer round. The offer was extended, and for a variety of different reasons, that just didn't happen. So we kept on going as we always do. We're all about persistence, delivering a consistent pipeline to our clients week in, week out, and just doing whatever we could to make sure that pipeline was healthy. And we lucked out again, finding another candidate almost about a month and a half ago, where this person was fantastic on paper. He absolutely crushed the first round. He absolutely crushed the second round. They then had to sync him with the CPO, and he did such a good job there, to the point where like, you know what, can this person, 3 times the charm, be the it candidate to get this job? And now what was the kicker here is that while a lot of the team members thought and agreed yes, some new developments happened. And by new developments, what happened internally was that the whole company was growing, the whole product org and multiple teams, including this team that this candidate was going to join, was growing as well. It took so long for this role to be filled, where now they started thinking about internally planning, executing about new product manager roles that they're going to open up on adjacent teams. What happened here is that while they thought, most of the team members thought that my candidate was a good fit, they also thought and talks amongst themselves that he could be a better fit for a brand new position that we initially reached out and sourced him for. So he went through the whole round. We did our best to check in with him at every single stage. He did not have a lot of other interviews happening. He ranked our company #1. He was okay with the comp range, which is all in between like maybe 180 to 190, and everything was golden. And all of a sudden, we then hear back from the client saying, hey, we really like him, but we're considering him for another role. We were no longer considering him for this role, which was like a jab back to my stomach, and then they're like, we'll get back to you in a couple days. They didn't get back to me in a couple days. I had to wait more like a week or two, and I was following up with them. I'm like, is this gonna even happen? They're just gonna end up ghosting. My can's gonna get another job or interview elsewhere. He's gonna get off the market, and now we're gonna lose this and have to start from scratch all over again. Well, we waited a long time. We had to do a lot of follow-ups, and then they finally decided internally that they want to consider my candidate for another role. So then now they had to reach out back to my candidate, make sure that he's still interested because a lot of time has gone by, and now pitch him this brand new role. And while this whole thing was happening, as soon as I heard that this was gonna happen, I then followed up with my candidate. I debriefed with them saying, hey, I'm really happy that you had a wonderful experience, but here's the thing, like, we're gonna have to do a 180 here and pivot, but they're gonna consider you for a brand new role. Are you okay? That caught my candidate by surprise, but he was open-minded enough and he was so bought in to wanting to work at my client that he's like, you know what? I'm willing to hear them out. He synced with the chief of staff internally. The chief of staff pitched him this brand new role, and they basically ended the conversation saying, hey, please let me know if you want to talk further. And if you are interested, that basically means we're gonna talk about an offer terms, and then, you know, let's finish this process. So they had a chat. I texted my candidate that day saying, hey, how'd it go? Did not hear back. I think I heard back the next day, and my candidate's like, I just need to think things over, which is not really the best language you wanna hear as a recruiter. Basically means he has a lot of things on his mind, a lot of possible red flags or objections or questions or concerns that we had to kind of do our best to address. I was able to connect with him, and I think about a day later or 2 days later, he's like, you know what? I thought it long and hard, and I decided to, and every time I hear a sentence starting just like that, it's always negative, but somehow he basically finished the sentence saying, I am happy to be considered for this brand new role. And then inside of me, like, I just celebrated a hallelujah, and I'm like, great, that's awesome. Go back and respond back to the chief of staff, let them know that you're excited, and I will also reconfirm that you are interested as well. So that email went out. He's basically synced up with the chief of staff again. They came out with initial offer, which is fantastic. Offer is an offer. And the terms was 170 base salary, plus a 10% bonus, plus 10 days PTO, plus many other things like, you know, benefits, health, 401k, etc. I'm gonna focus on these three things right now. I was overall pretty happy about that because, you know, 170 plus 10% possible equity, that's still aligned with 180 to 190, which basically means my communication with my candidate has been consistent from day one. It was on the higher end of it, which is a great starting point, right? And so I want to sync up with my candidate. He didn't have time to chat with me that day, which is like, again, not the best sign because I want to know what my candidate's thinking and feeling. I was able to sync up with him the next day. I'm like, hey, how do you feel? He's like, you know what? 170, 10%, 10 days PTO is okay. I kind of want to see if maybe I can negotiate. And here's the thing, when he said that, I didn't know if my client had any more wiggle room. Part of me felt that my client didn't, that they were basically maxed out because this happened before previous cans that I placed and they wouldn't budge, right? It was their best and final. So I told my can, hey, like, I'm not sure if they have wiggle room. If you want, you should, and you have every right to go and shoot your shot, and we will do whatever we could to go to bat for you and make it happen. He ideally wanted minimum a base of 190K, but because we were able to pitch our client so well, and because he fell in love with our client more and more as every interview stage proceeded, that he was willing overall to be flexible. He didn't want to be like a really stubborn and just give us a tough time when it comes to just money, because at the end of the day, if you're making it more than 150, 160, 170, 180, 170, 180, 170, 190, that's really incremental. It's not going to really change your life. It was in the right ballpark. But, you know, he was hoping that we can get that a little bit higher so that he doesn't feel like he is taking a step back. He's more doing a lateral move. I totally get that. So with this, I told him to manage expectations in a very honest way. I don't know, and I don't think we can budget up higher. But with that said, if you want to negotiate, we will do whatever we can to support you and make it happen. So he took another 2 days to think about it. He did say that, hey, you know, even if negotiations fail, I'm still thinking about taking the offer, which in my mind is a great sign, knowing that we have wiggle room, we have a range to play with, but I really wanted to see what he wanted to do. So he took a couple days to think about it, talk with his wife, talk with his advisors, mentors, and he's like, this is exactly what I want. So I'm like, cool, sync up with the chief of staff again. He sent an email to set up a time to chat. And on this conversation, he's like, you know what? I want 180 times 10% and not 10 days PTO, but I want 25. And so when I heard that, I'm like, wow, impressed. You're shooting your shot, go for it. I don't know what they'll come back with. I don't know if they'll be able to give you what you want out of these three things. Maybe they can tweak and give you a little bit higher salary, but we'll see. So he did that, and then the waiting game started again. So he was on the West Coast, I'm on the East Coast, and I also have a relationship with the direct hiring manager and the CPO, and I was emailing and following up with them and heard just nothing for a couple days. A weekend came and went, just nothing. And it was just nerve-wracking because I'm like, man, is this gonna happen? Are they gonna be able to make some changes or not? And then through one just auspicious evening, I was texting the hiring manager, and hiring manager was like, you know what, Preston? I chatted with my boss, the CPO. Outcomes were positive. We agree on all terms, and now we want you to do whatever you can to close this. So as soon as I got that, I remember it was like 10 or 11 o'clock at night because the hiring manager was on the West Coast. I just felt so relieved. I'm like, you know what, this is gonna happen. A candidate asked for 180, asked for 25 days. He got it. He got everything he wanted. It's at this point, I knew from my experience, it's gonna take a lot for a candidate not to say no. So I texted my candidate saying, hey, when can you chat? Heard some news. I also emailed his chief of staff saying, hey, you should have gotten the revised offer terms. Please schedule a time to chat with the candidate. And both my chat with the candidate and the chief of staff chat with the candidate took place the next day. He spoke with the chief of staff. It seemed like it went really, really well. I synced up with him and my candidate sounded super happy. And I told him, like, great job for knowing exactly what you want and being confident asking for it. And then we did whatever we could behind the scenes, talking, texting, late at nights, early mornings, we'd meet the hiring manager, me and the CPO, then amongst themselves to just get this done. And so when I spoke with the candidate, he's like, you know what, everything sounds great. I just need like the day to just process it, talk it over with my wife. And I'm like, just let me know. Another day has gone by, didn't hear anything, nail biting. And then the following day, he sends an email and CCs me to the chief of staff saying, hey, thank you so much for the conversations and for the team's willingness and openness to be flexible. I'm happy to accept the offer officially. And the crazy thing about this is that we closed the position that we did not know even existed, and we still have the original position that we're actively sourcing. So if we're able to close this original position on top of this one, that would be an absolute phenomenal start to Q4 of 2023. So all said and done, the final salary was $180,000. Our current commission percentage with this client is 18%, which basically means our take-home gross commission or placement fee for our team, for our company, is $32,400, which to me in this market is just absolutely amazing. The biggest takeaway for me here is to really be patient, to really go to bat for your candidates, but also to be crystal clear and making sure that your communication with your candidate is consistent from A to Z. And you're also very transparent with your client as well and keeping them abreast of every single stage. And if you can do that well, both sides respect you, both sides keep you up to date, then negotiations, even though it can be tense at times and it can be nerve-wracking from all the waiting, can happen and operate in a very smooth fashion. So big deal. Really, really happy to celebrate this at the end of summer. Fingers crossed that we'll do whatever we can to close this role. We just found out that they're opening a brand new data product manager role with us too. So things are really, really busy and we'll just continue to do the best. One thing I forgot to mention though is that throughout this whole 10, 11 months, this position, original position, was so important for our client that they ended up in a very honest way, like, hey Preston, like, we need this position closed. We're gonna open up and hire other recruitment agencies. This is never a language I wanna hear, but I'm okay with the competition because I know the value that I bring. They brought on, I think, like 6 or 7 other agencies, and after 2 to 3 months, the internal lead recruiter told me that all of them failed or gave up. Like they just couldn't do it. They didn't understand the position. Their candidates were just not good quality. And that just reinforced our value to our client. So even though that this original position still hasn't been closed, the fact that we closed this other position, we can now continue to focus on this original position. The client trust in us has been elevated and our trust and confidence in our own abilities has been elevated, and we will continue to do whatever we can to be laser focused to get this original position and this other position closed so that we can have a strong relationship with them, not just now, but over long term. So I hope you enjoy this story. Great job to the team. I'm loving every second working with this client, and it's all about doing whatever we can and not giving up. Some positions are fast. My quickest placement to date had been less than a week, and a lot of positions, and most of them are probably within a month or 2, right? Some of them are a lot longer, and I just choose not to give up, to show up every single day. And if you can, perhaps the recruiting universe might give you an extra bonus in giving you a placement with a deal for a position that didn't really exist, and now you still have your original positions to work, hoping that it could be just a greater win for the team. So hope you enjoy this. If you want to see more videos like this, let me know. Hope this helped. It was educational, gave you value. See you on the next one.